Hello, so let's speak about the elemental guns. Some of them are great, some of them are not so good, but this is kind of like a two-part video or combining two subjects. One, the best elemental guns and what are my favorites, and two, how to prepare for the endgame and what resources to save up so you have enough ammunition for some of the special weapons. To be honest, I think I'll just play with some of the special weapons instead of just branching over to so many guns that are not really that strong, or maybe there is a little too much experimentation. So let's begin. Now, like I said before we start, I just want to mention that the way you get large bullets or normal energy bullets, just show the recipes. You need a lot of cold core fragments, so you would always have to collect them in order to have enough for the endgame and for some other stuff you might use along the way. And for the large ones, yeah, you get the recipes from the last map. I think you can get the small energy bullets faster. You need small energy bullets, but you also need blue cubes and crimson core. So technically every material you have used so far will still be usable or needed much more in the end game as well. Now, what is, well, let's put that away. What is my favorite weapon in the game? Well, elemental weapon, that is. But the benefit is these two, the poop and the, the other gun. One is a shotgun and the other one is an elemental SMG or whatever you want to call it. But I noticed something really strange. So remember when the game had an update, this rapid response laser will actually add range on the guns, which is great because you have eliminated one of the problems of the guns. And you might think, well, this is just a slow firing pistol, right? No, it's not just a slow firing pistol, it's actually an SMG. As you can see, it says over here, their fire rate 16. Which is some of the highest fire rate you have seen in a very long time. So if you press it a lot of times, you actually fire like an SMG. Look at that. You might be thinking, well, did I see something weird? Yes, you did see something weird. This gun is the only one capable of stacking until I think about 10 stacks of poison damage or whatever they want to tell you it is. 6 damage, right? If you are up against a very armored enemy, if you just hit it a couple of times, you can do a max of 15 damage per tick. Look at that. So 15 damage. It doesn't matter how armored the opponent is, you just have to make sure you hit a couple of hits in, let's say about 10 hits, and then they'll most likely die because of the flu or whatever they get. Yeah, that's actually a very interesting mechanic of this weapon in particular, but you have to start getting ammo for the gun very early on, and sadly the ammo for these two guns, it's a little bit expensive because you need to find all of the, what you can find, and you only get 10 of them, so yeah, it's going to be a while. What about the shotgun? The shotgun is better, right? Well, it seems like it does a lot less damage than the other shotguns, but the range will be 16, but it has some other interesting properties. Yeah, I don't use hip fire. It will barely hit enemies. It said it doesn't stack up to 15 like the other one, but you will hit enemies so much easier with this one, and 16 is actually pretty generous as a range. That's kind of funny because you can end up killing everyone in the room with these wonderful things. So these are my favorite elemental guns. Sadly, it takes such a long time to use them. So I wanted to make a little bit of an addition. I don't have the salted fish as a melee weapon, but if you get the fire stick, it's actually a fire stick weapon. Meaning the damage it does is not so big, but it will do a lot of fire damage, which actually stacks. And it ticks much faster than the bleeding or the poison. So let's just say you're fighting against the armored enemy. 1, 2. Yeah, that's it. It's dead. So don't underestimate the fire stick, especially because you can give it some more interesting upgrades. So this is 15% damage. It will be 10% damage plus a crit damage multiplier plus a chance to bleed. I am pretty sure this will add a chance to bleed, so can you get actually both of them at the same time, bleed and fire? I'm not sure. Skeleton gets bleeding and fire at the same time. It might be a little too hard. Yeah, I don't think it works that way, but as you can see, you can use this stick for very, very interesting designs and to even kill some very, very strong enemies. So 1 and a 2 and a 3. So if you hit an enemy 3 times and then just run away, they'll most likely die before they reach you. Yeah, that's a lot of damage, so it's worth mentioning that. Also, the Psionic Kite is also very, very good in that regard, but it also has a huge AoE. If you hit an enemy once, they will take the psionic damage, but it takes only 1 damage. But look at this. You see that huge area of attack? I mean, this doesn't seem so different from the other melee weapons, but if you are careful enough, it's the same attack pattern, but it's a huge area of attack. Hit or free, doesn't matter. Anyway, the idea is that this is a much bigger pattern and the haunting damage is much better in a way. It also stacks quite a bit, so a few hits on the enemy might do wonders for you. 5 damage. Okay, now that we got this out of the way, let's switch to the more, well, how should I say, more common ones. So the Flaming AK is one of the best ones. By the way, to get the guns, you just need to kill the Fly Squad. Their captain and the henchmen will have them. They can appear near any toilet, most likely in the dormitories, in the dormitory near the construction yard, in the bathroom area near whatever room it is in the J-Labs. They can also appear near the office. They can appear in a few places as well, so that's how you get it. The Flaming AK, you just have to go into the cave when it's a Storm Tier 2 on ground 0, and it's kind of like the best elemental weapon until support. By the way, we don't have an elemental sniper weapon. It does a lot of damage, more or less. Plus it can hold all of the attachments, plus it does damage over time that takes super fast. Yeah, probably this is the gun that most people use in the game, so let's just say it's the most used gun in the game. Great for killing ghosts, great for a lot of other stuff, so it kind of adds up that it's so good. I was also heavily underestimating the psionic gun because you can put a lot of attachment to it, so you can also put more damage and hip fire, plus again the rapid response, which fixes one of the major issues these guns were having before, the range. Look at this. Let's say you hit a target 3 times. It's useless to use the ADS. So once you kind of get an idea or a sense for the lineup of the shots, this becomes so much easier. It's actually good against everything, especially because this damage will chew through anything, even the ghosts, even the... I don't know, it's just a very, very good weapon all around. I'm not sure how fast you can get it in the current conditions, because I'm not sure how fast the quest unlocks the MF Venom. This is the most useless one, to be honest, and it's so hard to get because you have to kill the red ghost. The problem is that it's just an under-damaged assault rifle. It's a laser, that's the good part, but it doesn't go up the poisoning like the other weapons did. It's like you need to fire a lot more bullets at your target to get to a drain of 10. Yeah. So it's great because it has all of the slots, it's great because you can get it relatively easily if you are playing on a lower difficulty, but ultimately the difficulty in obtaining it and just the low damage overall and being a fast fire, low damage over time type of weapon, it's not so interesting to me. So I guess these 3 will be the most used weapons. Let's go over here to the TOS 66 Dragon Breath. It's kind of a fun one, but sadly it's much better on paper because it's the most inaccurate weapon you'll ever see in a way. It doesn't have any movement speedy bounce, but look at this. Hip fire spread is 79. For context, it's only 47 for the psionic gun, so yeah, this is one of those elemental guns that is good to look at, but very, very annoying to play with. Electrified MP7 is actually pretty good because it can hold all of the slots you might need, so it can even go up to 75 ammo. Just extra damage. I'm beginning to like these extra damage muzzles so much. Almost make it a laser with stuff like this. So yeah, it's the type of gun that you keep shooting until you hit something. Also for mentioning that you can build this for speed, yeah, it's a cool weapon, it can be very fun to use. 9.45. How much damage does the normal version of the weapon do? Oh, 8.5, but yeah, the Uzi does a lot more damage, and some of the other guns are better. It's very good, especially in the beginning, if you want to kill a few ghosts. Sadly, I think the electrified effect for the gun is only slowing down your target, so they'll move slower, but it only lasts a split second. Look at this. You can see the effect, but there's no damage. So I think the developer should also add the effects the guns have, because it's clearly different. Sometimes you'll see more damage with these guns, or more damage over time. Sometimes you'll just see no effect except for a slowdown. If the developers would explain all of these things, I'm sure more people would use them. Now the candy gun, not much to say about the candy gun. You obtain it by putting in a certain code at the phone booths. It's kind of a weaker weapon. You can also use tactical and a scope. But yeah, this is a gimme gun. It's nothing else but a gimme gun. It doesn't include the psionic damage, but it's very low damage. It's not really worth it. Yeah, this is a gag gun. Don't really use it as a main weapon, or don't use it at all actually. Now the space glick is a totally different issue. Look at this. If you want to feel like a proper operator, you should probably use the space glick. It has the muzzle, which can be damaged, or some other stuff, extended pistol magazine. Just great all around. Oh yeah, made it for hip fire. It's actually a pretty fun game. I think the space glick would have been one of my favorites if we didn't have the other guns. Only 1.3, so it definitely is one of the best secondary weapons in the game in the current state. Mostly because you can put some attachments on it and the damage, plus it can kill the ghost as well and some other stuff. But you get it so late into the game that it doesn't really matter, does it? The cube gun. The cube gun you can actually get super early by going into the cave. On ground zero, plus, like I said, the small energy bullets just need cold core fragments, which means that basically this gun runs on soul power or something like that. This is what I didn't notice in the beginning of the game when I was playing with it. I thought it would be harder to use, but no, it's actually easier to use because it just uses some basic materials. And where is the cube gun? But yeah, so if you can put some attachments on it, it will be really cool. So this is technically counted as an electric weapon, but it doesn't do any electric damage, which is the weird part. This is the problem, we'll be reloading it, but otherwise this is a massive one. Fire rate is 22, which is the highest in the game, I think. So if you're starting to hit headshots with this beautiful thing, yeah, you're going to kill whatever you're aiming at. Oh, that's a lot of damage. So yeah, it's actually a very underestimated gun in the game, and I recommend you just use it because it's basically free ammo if you can collect enough cold cores, and it's going to be very good against certain bosses, especially bosses where you have enough time to aim for the head. Otherwise, the range is a bit meh, but 20 is enough, and the fire rate is just awesome. I think this is what you'd call a boss killer, just because you have so much uninterrupted firepower. Also, I put RPG-7 over here, because it's explosive damage, but it's definitely not elemental damage. They will probably change this at some point, but for now it's kind of explosive damage, which is not, normal damage. Next, we have to speak about the weapons of the three bosses, which is Gulu, Pala, and Billy. So, this is the one with the poison chance, but the attack rate is so much better. Look at this. Very dangerous gun. It looks like it spews acid or something crazy like that. The normal damage pretty good. Let's see, I think it goes up to 10. And damage over time. So it only goes up to 10. The stats on it are pretty good as well. The range is a bit low, so it might be harder to use. This is kind of like the main theme of the game with these weapons. They are very good, but they're very hard to use. Oh, this one is so much better, but it uses large energy, which means you need to farm a lot to even use this gun. Beautiful, isn't it? No, the fire effect does add a lot of extra damage to it, so fire effect just means extra damage and damage over time that takes very, very fast. Definitely kind of on par with the flaming AK. Yeah, that's the weapon of mass destruction almost. Now this is counted technically as electric damage as well, and it's just a shotgun. It has horrible recoil, same accuracy as you have with hipfire as ADS. Okay. Definitely one of the more boring guns, and before we go to the storm, let's just go to the toy gun. The toy gun is supposed to be a gimmick, a funny haha moment, which means it does no damage, but it uses real bullets, which is a weird thing because it doesn't even have that much of a capacity. They would probably need to redesign some of the weapons. Also, yeah, I really want a sniper with elemental effect. I really want some more damage. I mean, a grenade launcher would also be great. So they have so much more room to grow. So let's use the storm. We get this by killing the arcade. These are the bosses. This is Missile, or buying from the black market. Missile, the boss in Farm City. About the storm gun. The storm gun basically has all of the right tools for it, but you're actually using it kind of wrong. It's a sniper weapon. You need to go almost at max range for it to be fully usable or fully used. It's a bit crazy. I guess good luck getting headshots with something like this. It basically has no drawbacks. It does good damage, good range, good everything. I guess that's the shatter effect, which is also a damage over time effect. Oh yeah, 7, so yeah. I'll not test this out anymore, but you kind of get the idea. What is the good gun, what is the bad gun. If you save your resources from the beginning to the end, you'll have enough ammo for them. Definitely the flaming AK is easy to get, or the poop guns, which can be very, very useful to fight the bosses. Or even this shiny gun over here. If you put enough good attachments on it, this will become a monster, especially with the damage it can deal. Yeah, I'm very proud of all of these weapons. But like I said, these two are so weird and annoying and fun to use that I almost want to use them all the time. But I never have enough ammo and it's pretty hard to get ammo for them, so that's why I don't use them. Yeah, kind of like a little bit of a tip video, also a little bit of a personal preference. And we'll just have to wait and see what weapons they add to the game. Like I said, the salted tactical fish does poison damage or something like that, but I will need to fish so much to get it, to the point where I'm afraid. I'm really afraid of fishing that much. I'll fall asleep in front of the computer. Yeah, just have to see what other weapons they add next. Bye bye.